Hello my lovelies, it is time for another round of Cards Against My TBR, so stay tuned. Hi, hello. If you're new here, welcome. Cards Against My TBR is one of my multiple TBR games that I play in order to help pick my TBR for the upcoming month. I have 26 question cards and 26 answer cards from Cards Against Humanities. I shuffle them up, I draw 5 cards, and then I pick books to either answer the questions or fill in the blanks, or if it's an answer card, I find a book that makes me, that answer makes me think of. And that's one of the many ways that my TBR gets picked for the month. So before we get into what I'll be reading in May, let's go over how I did for April. So for the card, What's Harshing My Mellow Man, I selected The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and I did read this. For the answer card, Having a Bunch of Kids by Accident, I selected Never Seen by Shannon Messenger. This is book 4, I think, in the Keeper of the Lost City series, and I have not read it. At this point in time, it is April 24th, and I still have like about a week left. Hopefully I can get this read, but if not, I will roll this over into May because I do need to read it. For the question card, congratulations, you've been selected for our summer internship program. While we were unable to offer a salary, we can offer you blank. I selected The Wicked King by Holly Black, and I have also not read this one yet and hoping to read it in the next week, but if not, it will get rolled over. For the answer card, A Piñata Full of Scorpions, I selected Going Dark by Melissa De La Cruz, and I did read this. And for the final question card, which was Al Gore is giving the world a wake-up call with his new documentary, An Inconvenient Truth About Dark Matter, or I selected Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and I did read this. Okay, so before I pick my May cards, I have a couple of books that I need to read, and I always put them in here just in case I'm able to fit them into some of these prompts. So normally this is the part where I tell you who my book buddy of the month for my coffee patrons is going to be, and what book they selected that I need to read. This month, however, is my birthday month, and so I'm my very own book buddy of the month, and I'm selecting the buddy read for my coffee patrons, and we are buddy reading Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. So this is the book. This is also the one that I got off my wish list, all of that. So this is what we will be reading together. So hopefully I can get this to fit on something. And as I mentioned earlier, I do have multiple TBR games, and one of the games that I have is called Have I Read It? It's where I react to a haul that I've done over 3 years ago, and I tell you if I've read the books, if I haven't read the books, or if I've unhauled the books. And out of all of the books that I still own that I have not read, you get to vote on which book or books I need to add to my TBR for the next month. So I base how many I pick off of how many unread there were. So for my Have I Read It number 49, I ended up having to pick the top 2 voted books. So in first place with 35 votes, I am going to be reading Vicious by Victoria Schwab, or V.E. Schwab. And then in second place with 22 votes, I'm going to be reading The Language of Thorns by Leigh Bardugo. And then for my Have I Read It number 50, that was pretty much all like graphic novels and stuff that I got from BEA and BookCon. And I only had to pick the number 1 voted book for that. And for that one, with 26 votes, I'm going to be reading Deadly Class. I also have tons of other buddy reads and other books that I want to read and just all kinds of stuff for this month. So it's going to be interesting. But let's go ahead and shuffle up these cards and see what we get for May. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we ended up with 3 answer cards and 2 question cards, so I'm gonna spread them out like so. Okay, So the first one is an answer card, and that is an emotionally draining friendship. All right, let me think about this one. I feel like maybe this is something with like a toxic relationship in it. That sounds like a pretty good option. Let me see what I have. Okay, I think I know the perfect one for this. I just kind of looked it up to make sure that it is what I'm thinking. So Vicious by V.E. Schwab, the two main characters, Victor and Eli, they start out as college roommates, but it definitely turns not good. So for that first card, I will be selecting Vicious. Okay, for my first question card, it's actually a double blank, which means I have to pick 2 books for this card. So this one says, you haven't truly lived until you've experienced blank and blank at the same time. Okay, I think for this one, I'm gonna kind of take an easy route here. It is my birthday month, so it's whatever I want. Anyway, I'm going to go with you haven't truly lived until you've experienced Deadly Class and The Language of Thorns at the same time. I kind of thought that those kind of went together because if you're like taking a class, you could be taking a class on The Language of Thorns. So that actually knocks out all of my have I read it's that I need to read. So yay. Okay. The next answer card is a CD of haunted house sound effects. Ooh, this is a good one. I feel like the first thing that comes to mind is like a horror or a thriller or something like that, ghost story. But the first book that actually came to mind was How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. So do I want to do that, or do I want to find something that I already need to do? So I just looked up How to Sell a Haunted House, and I think I'm going to actually pick that for this because it actually works for one of my TBR knockout prompts, which is to read a book with a mom in it. And it does mention that like her mother's lifelong obsession with puppets and dolls. So there is a thing about, I mean, granted, her parents are dead, but there's a mom in the story. So I'm actually going to pick How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix for this one. And that is somewhere upstairs. I couldn't tell you where. Okay, next question card. Oh my gosh. It's another double. Okay. So this one says, today on Mythbusters, we find out how long blank can withstand blank. Okay. Okay, for this one, I'm going to go with, we find out how long Brutal Prince can withstand opposition. Because I have to read Opposition by Jennifer L. Armentrout in May for my coffee patrons, little like unofficial buddy read. So I don't think the Brutal Prince would be able to withstand much opposition at all. So those are what I'm going to pick for this one. And I don't actually have a physical copy of Opposition. I just have audiobooks for that. Okay, now on to our last answer card, which is The Invisible Hand. What do I pick for this? Ooh, I know which book I'm going to pick for this one. Because in Keeper of the Lost Cities, there's these mysterious groups that have, well, they're playing these parts, and you don't know who anybody is in these groups and what their end game actually is, and they're acting, I think, much like an invisible hand. So for this one, I'm going to pick Lodestar by Shannon Messenger. So there are all of the 7 books that I have to read this time. Oh my goodness. This is going to be interesting. But for the most part, I did get books that I need to read anyway, with, I think, the exception, the only one I added was How to Sell a Haunted House. So that's pretty good. I'm happy with how this turned out. It's funny because I normally have my books to sit here, but I didn't go and like I didn't want to battle trying to find everything right now. Okay, so real quick, like for The Invisible Hand, I'm going to be reading Lodestar. For today on Mythbusters, we find out how long brittle prints can withstand opposition. For a CD of haunted house sound effects, I'll be reading How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. For You Haven't Truly Lived Until You've Experienced Deadly Class and The Language of Thorns at the same time. And for an emotionally draining friendship, I'm reading Vicious by V.E. Schwab. So, yay. So have you guys read any of these books? Did you like them? Did you not? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye.